On this episode, I have an opportunity to interview successful female entrepreneurs that are living their best life and building their empires. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. I am your host, Carlos Gil, coming at you from the NASDAQ market site in Times Square, New York City. On this episode, I have an opportunity to sit down with three successful female entrepreneurs. They're not only living their best life, but they are building their empire and getting paid. And my first guest here on the set is none other than Miss Rosie Mercado.
Thank you so much. Gracias for having me here.
It is a pleasure.
Oh my God, thank you.
Have you.
I love the energy. We're starting off right. It's all about energy.
Well, you know what? Like energy and your momentum carries you through everything that you do in your day, your month, your career, and it trickles over to your finances and everyone that you come across.
Family, connections, everything that you attract is a mirror reflection of everything coming inward out. So
absolutely.
I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited to be talking about female entrepreneurship, which is a great subject to be talking about because it's about empowerment. It's about knowing that you're worthy, knowing that you're capable, and understanding that with a lot of hard focus and drive, there will be, successful payoff with that. And you get to live your best life doing the things that you love if you're fearless and going after your dreams.
Well, we're going to talk about what you're doing currently today, but let's start with, for those that aren't familiar with who Rosie is, you started off as a radio DJ when you were about 15 years old. You're on TV now. You're one of the hosts of Face Your Truth. You're a life coach. But let's take it back a step. Let's talk about your humble beginnings.
Oh my God, humble beginnings. 15 years old, Latina. And I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go. I just knew that I always had an eye for fashion, absolutely loved it, but I was heavy. I was plus size, I was heavy. I was heavier than all the people in high school, got made fun of consistently. And one day I ended up going to a radio station, won some tickets, and the mics were there, was in the radio room. And the DJ started asking me questions, the air personality started asking me questions. I started answering, and he loved the back and forth banter that we had. And I just kind of fell in love with that passion right there. It was being able to connect. Nobody was judging me on my size. It was about my intellect. It was about being in the moment. It was about answering. It was about being spontaneous. And that woke up a passion in me. Did that throughout high school. And then I wanted to transition into TV. But being 420 pounds, being Latina, constantly got told I couldn't do it, that I'd be better just staying in radio because everybody was listening to my voice and no one had to see me, and that I was just never a right fit. I was just never good enough. And you imagine how that takes a toll on your self-esteem because once you get told you're not good enough, you start carrying that through your life, your finances, your business, your relationships, everything in life it impacts. And, I'm grateful that happened. The reason that I'm grateful, when you get a no, you get to decide how driven you are. And it's not about proving everybody else wrong. It was about proving that I could do it for myself and how far I could go with it. And it taught me to have perseverance, drive, a vision, and also not take no as my final answer, but really create a destination where I wanted to go. So I kept knocking, I kept practicing, and it was my platform to be able to be a quick thinker off my feet, to develop into going into television, being able to connect with people. And it introduces you to storytelling and communication, which is so empowering and powerful to connect with other human beings. And it was a lot of humble beginnings, didn't make a lot of money. Then I had my kids, went through divorce, single mom, didn't know what I was gonna do, finding myself not wanting to work the typical 9-5 job because it just wasn't making ends meet. I had to figure out, as a single mom, how was I gonna be powerful, independent, passionate about what I was doing, but also make money to provide for my kids and a stable future. So it introduced me, from coming from radio, it taught me how to do commercials, how to really advertise out there, how to put my product out there, launched a cosmetic line, from a cosmetic line, became a towing owner, have a towing company in Las Vegas that's been very successful. I'm the only female-owned towing company in Vegas, and have a fleet of trucks. It's taken me in different directions and not being fearful of any new business, but knowing how to learn the business from the ground up and knowing how to do every single step. Because my dad taught me, he says, if you're gonna have a business, know how to work it from the bottom all the way up. In case something happens, you could take over, make a quick decision, and not let your business go.
One of the things that stands out to me is that you were told no a lot as you were coming up. And that had to do because of your outside appearance. So as you said, you were over 400 pounds.
Yeah.
When I hear no, I take that as not right now. So it means
it
means not right now
Yeah.
because if you look at your transformation
Yeah.
to where you were then and where you're at now, you didn't allow for no to be the barrier that was just going to stop you right in your tracks. But what I want to know is, what was that pivotal turning point in your life where you said, you know what, I keep getting turned down for opportunities. I really want to go down this path, but I have to make a change within myself.
You know, Carlos, it's so interesting that no is not a rejection, it's a redirection. And I think that in those times, there was moments, because I'm human, we're all human beings, and we have those emotions that when we get that, we feel like rejected, like we're never gonna get there. And it took so many years. People don't understand the hard grind of long nights, sleepless nights, traveling alone, knocking on doors, getting them slammed on your face, trying a different method, trying a new way, connecting until you get that finally that little window open where you can stick your foot in there and say, okay, you don't have to pay me, just give me a try. See what I'm worth. Let me show you how I could add value to you. And you know, there were so many moments that I felt like giving up. But I think the one moment was that I found myself when I had to deal with my own. It's about not looking outward, it was about looking inward to what I was attracting into my life, what my emotions were, because every decision, you know, is based off of emotion, and it tells you a lot where a person, a human being is, whether their successes or failures, it tells you a lot where their mental state is at. So understanding that I wasn't attracting the right life partners, I wasn't attracting the right business, the right clients, because there was no love for myself. I wasn't taking care of me physically, emotionally, psychologically, and self-care is not, you know, it's not a question, it's a priority. If you can't take care of you, how are you going to take care of your business? How are you going to take care of your family? How are you going to take care of your customers? The high demand. It doesn't happen. You could do so much and then you're going to burn out. So when I started feeling in pain, my body was in pain, 420 pounds, couldn't spend quality time with my kids, couldn't take care of my business, didn't want to be stuck in radio all the time. Those moments where you feel stuck, you want to grow. I wanted new opportunities, and if I wanted new opportunities to start change, it had to start with me, that change. And I really understood how much I was a prisoner to my weight and my body, that I couldn't get into certain cars. I couldn't do TV because of my weight. Everything that came to a no had to do how big I was and what that represented. And now I look at it back, it was such a challenge for me to really go after the change, because it was discipline. It takes 21 days to break a habit, 90 days to create a lifestyle. So 21 days of really changing and going to work out and really understanding what that meant, and the why. The why is so important. Understanding why I wanted to create the change and how that was going to impact. 365 days a year, you make a positive decision every single day. By the end of the year, you're going to be a complete different human being. A year later, I had lost 100 pounds, was walking with my kids, was able to get on a bike for the first time. I was able to connect with other human beings, because now I wasn't intimidated that people were judging me. Now it wasn't about my weight. It's like, how can I serve you? Listening to my clients, to my business that was growing, being able to have the energy to take care of my business, and not letting my weight get in the way of creating relationships, because everything in business ends up to be relationships.
But what I want to know is, at any point throughout this, did you say to yourself within like, gee, this really sucks that I'm getting turned down because I don't have the look that they want?
You know what? It wasn't about the look. It was constantly being rejected because of my weight. And that hurts. As a woman, being told that you're too fat to be on TV, that nobody wants to watch you, or that you're just not worthy. I don't care how powerful of a woman you are. Deep down, being a human being, that hurt. There was moments that I would leave crying, Carlos. I'd leave crying and I'd go home, and then I'd ask myself, what am I doing? Why do I keep torturing myself that way? Why do I keep knocking on this door? Constantly gets slammed on my face. And you know the worst part is that I would go, and sometimes they'd laugh at me. They'd laugh at me and they said, just stay to radio. Like, why are you even dreaming about that? It's just not gonna happen. And I just remember that there was one person from my past, I won't say who he is, but I'm so super thankful. I remember him looking in my eyes and saying, you're never gonna amount to anything. I will die the day that I see you on TV.
Wow, that's bold.
He says, you're done, like you're old and you're fat. And you know what? You got kids, so it's not gonna happen for you. But you know what? Go ahead. I'm just gonna enjoy watching you fail. And I remember when he said that, there was this instance of anger, and I looked, I said, there's no way that I'm gonna take that as my personal reality. And I remember I sat down and listened to Tony Robbins, and I started thinking, what do I really want? And why do I want it? And I got down, what do I have to sacrifice? Because it's the law of sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something to have something else. What am I willing to sacrifice? the unhealthy eating, the laziness of not going to the gym, the pain of exercising, the pain of transformation, because I'd rather deal with the pain of transformation than the pain of regret. Being focused and going and educating, listening to podcasts, educating myself in seminars. It was sacrificing my personal friendships and life for a while, putting that on hold because I needed to zoom in and focus if I really wanted to create this for a future. And I remember that as I started moving in that momentum of growth and teaching myself and doing, because it's not like, oh, I'm not ready yet. You're never ready. You're never ready. You just got to do it. And learning along the way where I started feeling fulfilled, and just the act of doing and scheduling and being present and being absorbed in that energy of, this is what I want my future to be the rest of my life. I want to wake up and do this the rest of my life. I became happier and happier. And every single day that I practiced, I became better and better. And I would look back, what do I have to correct? How can I become better? Asking that question over and over, never saying, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm proud that I've gotten this far. And I could look back and take a look at the journey. But what do I have to do to become better? What do I have to do from A to B? And that was the momentum that I got.
And it sounds like that no that you initially heard was that moment that made you check yourself and from within really say, I've got to make some changes.
Yeah.
I have to lose weight because my kids need me. And to your point, it's uncomfortable to do some of the things on an everyday basis that you want to be able to do. So how do you then decide, all right, I'm going to make this change. I'm going to make this monumental leap forward. So you've done red carpets. I've seen you on Don Francisco. You're doing some amazing things now on TV, mainstream TV. Like, how do you just make that leap? And you know what? More importantly, say to all the haters that along the way said to you, you know, you can't do this. You're never going to amount to it. It's like, how do you go ahead and block that out of your mind and just keep moving forward?
Well, first of all, let me answer, how do you block haters and negativity out of your mind? Because that's not your reality. What other people's opinions are of you has nothing to do with you. If you're gonna get constructive criticism, that's the kind of criticism you want in your life, because constructive criticism says, you know what, I don't like this. This is how I think you could do it better. They're offering you criticism with a solution. I didn't pay attention to just critics. I just didn't. There's a lot of people that are so unhappy with their lives that it's a reflection of them. So I don't take that personally. And you know what? My dream was given to me to be able to accomplish and share and do and create. And not everybody's going to understand my dream. And I'm okay with that now. I'm willing to piss some people off and understand that it has nothing to do with me. But I have to stay focused, because it's so easy to have the distraction of negativity in your life pulling you back from the positivity. So it's about being focused, being certain that you know that you love what you do, willing to grind, willing to really go and do the work, the long nights, the endless nights, the traveling alone, the knocking on the doors, dealing with the no's, celebrating the yeses, and not paying attention to the negativity. Negativity can be used as a force to move you forward and just say, okay, I understand you don't believe me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your feedback. Keep moving forward. You got to be a visionary of the future, not a victim of your past.
Amen.
And when it comes to taking that leap forward, it was about believing in who I was, being authentic. Authenticity is missing, Carlos. The cameras pick up authenticity. You know when someone's being honest and when they're not. And it's about sharing the deepest scars of my soul, not the scars that you see on my body. I have tons. I have stretch marks. I have cellular. I have all of those. I'm proud of them. All of it.
You gotta embrace it.
I
It like
embrace
makes you
it.
you.
Yes, it makes me me. But the scars that nobody sees, those are the ones that I want to share, because those are the ones that allow me to authentically connect with another human being and say, the revelation will come. Have faith. This is temporary. You'll be okay. And you'll look back and you'll laugh and you'll say, I survived that. And you'll come out a much better human being. So it was about having faith, not letting the no's dictate my future, knowing that I was so focused and faithful throughout the process and that I did not give up. It's about not giving up. You gotta keep knocking on those doors. The yes will eventually come.
You mentioned before storytelling and authenticity. You have a great presence on Instagram stories, you're really active. The reality is right now, you probably have fans that look up to you, younger girls perhaps, that are probably where you were at 15 and 16 years old. How important is it for you to share your authentic self through stories and keep your community engaged?
It's so important because my vision, it's not about me. It's about creating impact. It's about creating healing. And the only way that you create healing is by sharing your story. You get to heal a little bit of part of your soul, but at the same time, someone who's ashamed of their past or doesn't have someone to go to, or doesn't trust someone to be able to say, this happened to me, I was abused, I was verbally abused, I was physically abused, or you know what, I feel bad because I got divorced, I feel ashamed, or I feel ashamed because someone cheated on me, or you know what, I have a son with special needs and I don't know what to do. When you're able to connect with those people and say, you know what, this is what I did, and this is how I felt, they're like, I'm not the only one in the world that feels like giving up. I'm not the only one that feels ashamed. I'm not the only one that feels discouraged. And that's what it's about, teaching them that there's other people going through the same thing that they're going, and giving the sense of hope and faith to keep pushing forward, and letting them know again, it's only temporary. This is just part of the journey. There's a lesson for you to learn, and you're gonna come out so much stronger. Stay strong, and there's a beautiful story for you with your purpose and your drive to share forward. It's about paying it forward. It's inviting other people to be a light to someone else.
So how does that storytelling and putting yourself out there help you succeed as an entrepreneur?
You know why? It helps me succeed as an entrepreneur, especially as a female entrepreneur, because it teaches people that I'm human, that I have failures, that I have successes, that I have imperfections, that I'm human, that I've fallen down, but that with every time that I fall down, I get back up, and that I keep going. And it teaches them that failure is a great lesson in life. It should not be looked negatively. If you look at it with gratitude, it really changes your perspective, and you get excited, because if you're not failing and you're not succeeding, you're not doing anything.
Would you say that failure is a myth? And that's a mindset?
Failure is a mindset, absolutely. I would agree with that. That's a great statement. I love that one.
Like, here's the thing.
It is.
You have the option from within to decide you failed or you won.
Yeah.
It's all a mindset. So if you get knocked down and you try to do something and the outcome isn't favorable, i.e. you failed,
yeah,
whatever you learn from that experience
valuable.
is knowledge.
It's
and
valuable.
If you learn from everything that you do, then you win.
Absolutely.
So if you look at it from that lens, as opposed to like, I tried to do this, I started up a business, I failed, I lost money, like, you're gonna be hard on your luck.
Absolutely.
And you're never gonna get yourself back up.
Absolutely.
But if you go into it as having the mindset that I got knocked down, I learned from this experience, I'm a better person as a result of this experience, then you're always gonna win. You're always gonna come out on top.
And to add to that, Carlos, I think that the lesson will repeat itself until you learn. The lesson will repeat itself until you learn. And I think it's about, again.
That's solid. The lesson will repeat itself until you learn.
How many times does that happen in business?
It happens in relationships.
Everything.
Happens in marriages, dating. It happens in business all the time. Clients.
Everything. It'll repeat itself, and then you're like, why am I here again? Why is my business failing? Why aren't my clients happy? Why is my relationships? Why aren't I don't have stronger relationships in my life? Why aren't my kids listening to me? Well, if you're repeating the same thing over and over, the lesson is it's trying to teach you it's a redirection, but you're not in tune to it. And if you're not in tune to it, then how are you supposed to grow? And if you're not growing, then you're in the same place, then it's gonna be a vicious cycle, and you're gonna get frustrated, and eventually you'll give up until you say, okay, I give up for about 5 minutes, let me sit back and let me take this in and let me reevaluate. It's about reevaluating constantly and being okay. I think people need to be okay with failing. Be okay with failing. If you fail, all right, let's go. Round 2. All right, round 3, round 4, until you get what you want. If you passionately want it, you will do it, and no one will tell you how you will go after it.
How about we remix that though? So assuming that failure is in fact a mindset, or what I say failure is a myth, you're not failing, you're just not getting the outcome that you desire.
Love it. Yes.
So if you don't get the outcome that you ultimately desire, what did you learn from the process?
Yeah.
How are you a better person as a result? And just dust yourself off and keep moving forward.
Yeah, if at first you don't succeed, try again. You got to keep going.
So let's talk about what you're doing now, though. So you're the host.
Co-host. I'm super excited. Vivica's the host. I'm one of the co-hosts for Face the Truth.
Vivica Fox.
Vivica Fox, the Vivica Fox, beautiful Vivica Fox. And I'm with Ariva Martin, who's the lawyer. I'm the lifestyle coach. We have Dr. Judy, who's a psychologist. And then we have Judge Scary Mary, who's the judge. She's amazing. I love her. But it's a great show. It's a great platform. It's produced by Dr. Phil. And it's a show that really, it's an add value show. It's about presenting real stories, real people, real problems, and we give them a solution. We give them a transformational takeaway that in the next 30 days they can start changing their life. And that for me is fulfillment. Fulfillment, creating impact with people that are presenting their truth, their authenticity, their vulnerability. Because to be vulnerable, it's to be courageous.
And to be vulnerable on national television.
And
this
say,
isn't Instagram or Facebook.
No.
I'm talking about national TV.
About letting it all out and saying, I need help. Can you help me? I love my son. I don't know what to do. I'm going through divorce. I don't know what to do. I cheated. I messed up. I don't know what to do. We're there hearing the story and adding value. And it's not just adding value to the people that are on stage. It's about all the people that are watching. And I think that's the biggest impact, the biggest transformation, that sometimes people are afraid to be vulnerable and say, I need help.
Now, you get deep on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
I sent you an
get deep.
Instagram message. I was in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was in the lobby of my hotel, and you were right there on the TV, and like, I was just seeing you. You were getting deep.
Yeah.
So speak to the place where you come from when you're on the show.
God, every person that goes on there, Carlos, I've been through so much in my life. I've been through heartbreak. I've been through business falling apart, losing my business. I've been through divorce, my son being special needs, being a mother that wasn't present because I was so stuck in my own depression. I've been through so much. So every time, and to be in the place that I am, thank you, God. It's such a blessing. But they all taught me lessons. And they were all stories that I needed to go through and live and feel to be able to connect to now where I'm at as a lifestyle coach. Because when I'm watching these people that are on the show, I was you. I know what you're feeling. I know the thoughts of giving up. I know the moments of depression. I know the moments of heartbreak. I know the moments of losing your business. And that allows me to go deep and have compassion and not be so judgmental and really focus on, I know what you're feeling. This is what you have to do. This is a takeaway. Yeah. And really help them to redirect their emotions so they're not guided by their emotions, but they're guiding their emotions.
You have just defined how to kick obstacles down.
Thank
when
you.
A barrier is put in front of you, how do you knock it down? Red carpets, you're a model, you have a show, you're on a show as a co-host on national TV, doing all these amazing things in spite of the deck of cards that was dealt to you early on in your life and all those no's along the way.
You know what? It's my past. It was my story. But the story that I have today is that I'm a successful, powerful Latina that has a sense of compassion and wants to contribute and create impact to women around the world and really wants to create change and is not defined by no's, but I'm defined by my own yeses.
What's next for Rosie Mercado?
Taking over the world.
Oh, yeah. What's the world domination plan look like?
World domination. Oh, the goal, the reality is talk show. Want to empower women. I definitely want to empower my Latinas. Quiero estar con ellas. I want to be a powerful Latina that contributes and creates change and really presents storytelling to the best of its art form. And my book is coming out next year, which I'm super excited.
When's it drop?
2019, towards the end, so I'm super excited.
I'm right there with you.
I'm super excited. You'll be the first to know, but I'm super excited to be able to share the authenticity and just like the real rawness of my story, my entire journey. There's just so many ups and downs. And, designing, that I love fashion, from being at my heaviest, a size 36, all the way down to a 12, fabulous 14.
And it's okay, we're gonna throw the before and afters here on the screen.
Oh, wonderful.
So people can see it.
Yeah. And designing, I love designing for women. You know what I love? There's nothing more beautiful than seeing a woman get up, regardless of her size, get dressed up and just see the transformation instantly of saying, damn, I look good. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Well, I can relate as a guy, having to get the fresh fade and wear the nice suit. Like, the way that you look at yourself in the mirror, I firmly believe has a big impact on how you come across to people in the world around you.
Absolutely.
It affects everything.
Yeah, and you are like so well groomed, you're so well put together, but you're also so very elegant and humble. Being humble is a very big key to success. So thank you so much for always being humble, always being authentic, and always giving me that opportunity, being the invitation to create change and share a message.
Absolutely. Rosie, thank you so much for your time. Where can the guests learn more about you and connect with you?
Well, first of all, they can watch Face the Truth, and they can visit Face the Truth TV. You can also follow me at Rosie Mercado via all social media networks, and you can visit me at rosiemercado.com.
Absolutely. Hey! Thank you so much. We're going to do this again. This is like the first of many times that we do this.
Many times, yes. We have a lot of content to put out there. A lot of fun stories,
Rosie,
right?
Thank you so much.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Rosie Mercado, everyone. Make sure that you go ahead and follow her. She's amazing. She's humble. She's got an amazing story. And she comes from a place of passion over profit. Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm your host, Carlos Gil. On this episode, I am speaking with female entrepreneurs that are living their best life and building their empires. And my next guest here on the set at NASDAQ is none other than Rebecca Minkoff. Rebecca, welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
It is great to have you. Now, you're living your best life. You've created this amazing fashion empire. I was just at Nordstrom's over the weekend in Glendale, where I live, and I see Rebecca Minkoff, your bags, the whole setup is right there in front of me. But maybe speak to the audience out there. How is it that you got started in the industry?
So I had a love and a passion for design since the age of 8. I wanted this dress. My mom would not buy me the dress, but she said, I'll teach you how to sew. And from there, I got hooked and addicted to the idea that I could create something out of nothing. Studied design for a long time, moved here when I was 18 to work for a designer. Did that and decided that if I'm gonna work this hard, it's gotta be my name. So launched my company in 2001 with a really small 5-piece collection. The t-shirt is what took off. And fast forward 18 years, and here we are.
Here you are. So how big is your company?
Well, we have over 85 people. We're distributed in over 900 stores, including Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, and Saks, and big business.
So you have a well-recognized name.
I hope so. Maybe
it's
that's
all
what
over your
got me
product.
here.
Your brand is built around your name. Maybe speak to the younger generation out there that sees Supreme or they see Rebecca Minkoff, and then they look at a Shopify and they think through, I can just start up a store today and I can sell products online, or I can go to Amazon. Is that a realistic path to entrepreneurship today?
It's 100% realistic. I think now more than ever, you're going to see direct-to-consumer brands popping up, but you're also seeing them also make their way back to brick and mortar or back to traditional wholesalers, because I think these DTC brands are finding that the cost to acquire a customer is a lot higher if you're just digital. So how do you get the customer to like really sense you, touch, feel, and experience the brand? And so you see sort of this funny shift going back into wholesale.
So if someone wants to start their own high-end luxury apparel brand, where do they get started?
Well, first I would say you have to find a white space. Even if it's a white t-shirt, what makes your t-shirt better, than all the other white t-shirts out there? And then you really have to figure out what is your value proposition to the customer and where are you going to showcase and talk about your brand. Yes, you have a product, but the customer needs to connect with a brand. I think we're all looking to find deeper and more meaningful ways to talk to our customer, and they appreciate that.
Now, as you were creating your company, you said you started back in 2001. What were some of the challenges that you faced early on?
No one gave us a loan. No one gave us an office lease. My brother had to mortgage his house and max out his credit card to fund the original production cycle of the bags. And I think just people taking you seriously. We also were the first into digital and social, almost because we didn't have money for a major advertising campaign in a glossy magazine, and that was the way to do it. So we said, this is free. Our customer's living and breathing there. Let's talk to her there. And then when we saw that that worked, it was like, oh, thank gosh.
Were you using MySpace primarily?
I met my husband on MySpace.
Okay, maybe speak to that. Speak to that transaction.
Oh my God. A friend of mine had said, I want to introduce you to this guy. He's in a band, you might like him, and he's on MySpace. And so that was my first experience. I had to make an account in order to talk to him.
Wow. That's going the extra mile.
It is. I was like a pretend, fangirl of music just to be able to speak to him. But it worked out 3 kids later.
Nice. So you use MySpace, you find your husband, and then you also find that MySpace is a credible marketing channel for your startup at the time.
Yes, MySpace was great. Facebook had just stopped only allowing college students to connect, but also blogs and forum. There was something called the Purse Forum. They had a blog, and these women were talking about bags all day long. And I thought, you know what? They're talking about my brand. Why don't I answer their questions? And if you think about it, we were getting interventions from stores being like, don't talk to your customer, that belittles you, that's beneath you. And I was like, that's weird. Why wouldn't I want to talk to the girl who's helping me pay my rent?
So it's fascinating because you started your company at a time which was pre-social media.
Correct.
And consumers weren't gravitating necessarily to MySpace in order to go ahead and learn about bags and high-end fashion. So
Right.
How did you transition as Facebook and Twitter and now Instagram came into the mix?
I think for us it was always about, here's a new platform. It allows us to talk to our customer. She appreciates that we're talking to her directly. We're surveying her. We're asking her questions for feedback. And there's a two-way dialogue. So for us, it was never a strategy or an approach. It was just, oh, great, another way I can, be with her.
So the approach was using social media to identify who's our target consumer, what are they doing in their everyday life, and how do we put our brand in front of them?
Correct.
Would you say that that was through organic content? Was it through working with influencers? using a combination of
All
ads
the
as well?
above. All the above. Well, no, not ads. I think, when we saw the rise of the influencer, we were also first in. People before they'd heard of Man Repeller or Natalie Off Duty or Something Navy. I think these were all girls that were starting something. And again, the interventions don't work with their C-list celebrities. And my co-founder, who's my brother, and I, we thought, no, they're not. These are incredible girls that are talking in a real way to our consumer. And so, we were the first to have, one in a fashion show and first to have a bunch of them on the runway, and really just treating them like they're content creators. They're the new publishers. And so these are the people we should partner with.
Now let's speak about influencer marketing because it's almost 2019 and it's become a $1 billion enterprise in itself. So how much does your company rely on leveraging influencers in order to get the word out for your company?
We rely on it very heavily. I think we know that our customer looks to these girls for what they're going to wear, how they're going to style something, what they should add to their closet. So for us, it's really important that that we're working with them.
Okay. Are there some influencers out there that you prefer to work with? You want to name drop some of the influencers out there that are really killing it in fashion?
Ariel Charnas is killing it, Something Navy. She's not only incredible at promoting brands, but launched her own company and crashes the Nordstrom website every time that happens. So props to her. I love Leandra Medine, from Man Repeller. She's doing things really creatively in her own way. But We Wore What is great. I think there's a bunch of up-and-coming girls. I think the term micro-influencer might be overused, but there's something to be said about these people with smaller followings that have a really dedicated, loyal audience that actually buys when they say, I'm wearing something.
Now, what do you feel makes a creator stand out?
Again, unique point of view. They found a white space. They stay in their lane, and they keep giving that customer what she expects of them every day.
Okay. In terms of how, as a company, you work with these influencers, is it giving them bags? Is it compensation? Maybe a mix of both?
Sometimes it's a mix of both. We'll never pay, you see these luxury brands spending huge amounts of money. I think for us, we've had these relationships from the beginning, so it's really organic. And so if we, do something with them, it's usually because they love what we're doing and we love what they're doing, and so there's a nice back and forth.
What would you say, Rebecca, is perhaps the hardest thing about your job?
Man, I would say the hardest thing is we want to be able to offer our customer what she wants now, and obviously technology is making things happen very quick, and so how do you stay that quick all the time?
How do you stay quick all the time? Well, how does your company stay quick? Is it bringing in agencies, consultants? Do you have a staff that's in the know, they're a little bit younger, so they know these trends, and then they're educating? It's almost like bottom-up education. Is that how it's working?
I think it's bottom-up, but it's also that because my brother and I have been very willing to test new technologies, that we do get to see a lot of new things happening, and people will come to us to be, launch partners for new things. And so I guess we're lucky that, we're willing to fail publicly on a new technology, but it's worth trying it to see if that's a new platform or something that helps the customer.
Staying on the topic of technology, and in this case, retail and fashion, what do you foresee is next?
So we talk about experience a lot, but I think you have to think of experience as the product being consumed, not just here's a cool wall and I gave the customer a good experience because it was an Instagrammable wall. No, what are you selling as the experience? And so brands need to start thinking about how they're going to monetize that.
Would you say that virtual reality, augmented reality, that's the play that's going to disrupt retail and fashion? Or is it something else that we're not even speaking about?
I think that has a ways to go before a woman's going to put on some glasses and cut off all sensory perception. I think if someone wanted to tune into a fashion show, that's a great way. If someone wants to take a tour of their to-be, designed store, that's a great idea. But I think, technology, 3D printing is obviously, as it becomes more mass, going to definitely ease things that we go through and spending a lot of money on a mold for jewelry or, other things like that.
So we talked about your come up and how you built your empire. Let's talk about how you live your best life, though.
Oh, man.
You're a mom, you're a wife. Are you a pet owner?
Definitely not a pet owner.
Not a pet owner, okay.
I have 3 kids is enough for me. I think my goal is to enjoy the journey. I think a lot of people think about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that might or might not come. And so for me to live my best life, it's really about really enjoying every part of this journey, and especially the hard parts. You know, I think people don't want the hard parts. They don't want to experience failure, but it doesn't make it worth it if you never had any trouble.
As a successful entrepreneur, what are the hard parts for you?
I think the hard parts are disappointing a customer, not getting something to her fast enough, seeing what you think might be someone else's best life on Instagram and being like, damn, why wasn't I invited to that party? I'm not speaking about a literal party, but a business, you know, something that occurred with their business, or what seems like perfect success for someone else, I think, and telling yourself, you know what, they have struggles too, and they're dealing with the same, you know, environment that we are, and how do we overcome it?
Now, speaking of Instagram, it's no secret. It's one of the most active, if not the most active social network at this point in time. You have an active presence on Instagram. How does that help you as an entrepreneur and really the face and name of your company? How does that make you connect with your customers?
I think it's really important that if you have a brand and if you have the founder of the brand that's still with the brand, that this customer wants to connect again, more than just a product. So she wants to see, you know, me on a plane flight with the hot mess of my kids, or she wants to see what outfits I'm putting together or what I'm packing to go on a trip. So again, it's about really continuing the dialogue, that if I can't meet you in person, you feel like you know me and I'm your friend. And hopefully you want to, you know, wear your friend's stuff.
Now, Rebecca, last question for you before we wrap up. What is next for you personally, and if you can give us a glimpse for your company?
So for the company, we launched a podcast about 2 months ago. It's called Super Women with Rebecca Minkoff. I felt really fortunate to be able to meet some incredible women, founders of brands, editors-in-chiefs of magazines, entertaining personalities, so you get to hear their stories and, more importantly, their vulnerabilities. I think it's really important to highlight that, especially when we have this Instagram sort of perfect life always being portrayed. So that's been really fun to learn a new skill after 13 years, to sort of be like, I know nothing about this, let me dive in. Personally, I'm just trying to get back to the gym. How about that? Small steps.
You know what? We just got out of Thanksgiving. I need to get into the gym also. So I'm right there with you. Rebecca, where can the viewers out there connect with you and learn more about you? And most importantly, where can they go to purchase your products?
You can find me on Instagram at Rebecca Minkoff, shop for my products at RebeccaMinkoff.com, and listen to me once a week, Super Women with Rebecca Minkoff, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Super Women with Rebecca Minkoff. I love it. Thank you so much, Rebecca,
for
joining me here on the set of Real Talk. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Real Talk. If you're watching on Facebook Watch, be sure to like, comment, and share. If you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.